This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this Flagstaff E-Pro, model number 15TB. So this is a how-to video. It's not a floor plan video. I'm going to show you some of the components and how they work. We're still prepping. Still needs to be cleaned, but I'm gonna work around that. So this particular trail comes with a solar panel and power inverter. So I'll show you that when we get to it. So it actually inverts power. It takes 12 volt DC from these batteries and inverts it to 120 AC, right? And then sends it to the plugs, the receptacles. So if you look, let me just see here. I can see that far. These maybe not all of them, but some of these will be inverted, so you could use a regular AC appliance if you need to and run it off the battery. It also has a converter inside, which does just the opposite. It converts AC to DC power, so that's where your 12 volt will come from, and we'll talk about that as we get there. Okay. Okay, so you have a scissor type stabilizers, of course. Down here you have your LP quick connect, so you can hook your griddle up to the LP system. The griddle hangs right on this rail right here along with a utility table, and then you get a rubber quick connect hose, LP hose, to connect it to the griddle. Alright, this is just storage here. You can see that there's a lot of stuff in here, but this is what the griddle sits on. That's your utility table there. These are components for your hitch. It has a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up. Okay. Power awning with LED strip, outside speaker, power. It has a electronic lock. You can use the key, or it tells you what your default code is here, but you can make up your own code, obviously, if you want to do it this way. This says it's been winterized, but no, they didn't take this off yet. It's been de-winterized, so it's ready to be camped in right now. This little plug here is in case you wanted to purchase a solar panel just to charge the batteries. That's where it would plug in. It's just an option. Okay. So you have your bike rack. It holds 2 bikes. Half of these will face the other way, right? So you have one bike hanging here, one bike hanging there, okay? You also get this piece that's on a 45-degree angle. It's in there in the back compartment there, so you could actually move it forward or backward if you needed to, but this is the most common setup right there. It works for almost everything. This is your power tongue jack. It goes up and down, obviously, and you also have a hitch light with it, like so. If it happens to ever fail, you can pull this pin here, pull this pin out, take this section out, and then pull the rubber plug off of here. You can actually use the stabilizer jack crank, or you can use a 3/4 inch socket on a drill, whatever. But you can actually operate this, raise it and lower it manually if you need to in an emergency. So you can always get hitched and unhitched no matter what. You have 2 deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired together as 12 volt, so it stays at 12 volt. It just doubles the storage capacity, which is great when you're inverting power. It also gives you a place for your solar panel to store the power at. So you got 2 batteries. LP tanks with automatic changeover regulator. These are your dump valves here, black and gray. Black is toilet water and waste, gray is sink and shower water. Now, if we come over to here, let's see what we have here before I guess I should have looked around first, huh? Okay. Okay, so you have an outside shower to spray off kids and dogs and feet or whatever you need to spray. This is where your 30 amp power cord hooks to. It's in the trailer right now because we're running off of battery and solar right now, so that's where you would plug it in. You have your city water hookup right here. So this is the most common way to get water to the trailer, right there. You just hook the hose up, turn it on, and you're all set. Now, if you're camping someplace that does not have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here and use the onboard water pump to pump the water. You know, some of the, really rustic campgrounds aren't going to have city water, but even some of the state parks will have a fill station when you first come through the gate, but there's no plumbing on the actual campsite, so you would fill it up and you can run everything just as though you had city water. This has to do with drawing antifreeze into the trailer and winterizing it. You'll have to educate yourself a bit on that if you're going to do it yourself. Cable and satellite through right there. Okay, let's see. Your fresh water drain is that white gate valve right there, so you can dump your water tank if you need to. There's storage behind here. In order to access it, you're going to have to pull these clips out here. I'm not going to do it all right now, but you'd pull these two clips and then pull the ladder away, and then you could open up the compartment. You don't have to take the ladder off, you just tip it out of the way. Also, and this ladder is great because the manufacturer states you should inspect your roof every 90 days. So you want to go up there and check all the sealant for cracking and separation. If you see anything with the sealant, take care of it immediately. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but you're just protecting your investment by inspecting it. Also, you look at the roofing material and roof attachments. Make sure they're not damaged by low branches or road debris flipping up there. Just give it a good inspection every 90 days. You can walk up there, yes. Be very careful. That is a housing for a backup camera. So if you want to add a backup camera there, you can. It's a Furrion type of camera. It screws right in there, plugs in, and you're all set. Okay, so let me just go inside here. See what we have. Okay, so let me look around here. Okay, so this is your control panel here. Turn on some lights here. So, all right. So with your water heater, it works on electric or gas. So you turn the electric on there, turn the gas on here. Never run it without water in the water heater tank. That's very important. Also, you have tank heaters, which is basically a heating pad on each of the tanks plus an elbow heater or another heating pad that goes by the elbow generally. You turn that on like that. Your water pump is right here. You check your levels here. Battery, fresh water, black water, and gray water. They graduate in 1/3 increments, of course. Your power awning right here. Show you right there. Never leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in. And there's, of course, your lights that I've showed you. Okay. So there are apps for some of these. If you look right there, you can get the Lippert app for this. Keep that in mind. So this is the griddle I told you about. That hangs on the outside. This is just literature here. Your keys are right here. Alrighty. So the cooktop is very simple. You just get a lighter and turn it on and light it. It's very simple. Your microwave works like any other microwave, except this one I believe is a what's the word I'm looking for? A convection microwave. There we go. Yeah, so it's a convection one. All right. Now let's see, how will I do this? I told you that there's an inverter, right? So to turn your inverter on, it's right here. That's all you do. You don't run the inverter unless you're going to be inverting power to use. You don't just keep it running. You just turn it on as needed. So right now you can plug into receptacles and invert your 12-volt battery to 120 AC. To shut it off, you just hold your thumb on it for a minute, or a few seconds actually. It didn't do it. A little bit longer. And there it shuts off. Okay? So that's the inverter. There's also a converter, which is right here. So this converts AC to DC power. Let me see if I can get a good picture of it here. I'm a lousy cameraman. So you have circuit breakers like you'd see at home. They're just 120 AC and they're labeled. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC. So you got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled down here. Okay, now this is also a battery tender. So as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your batteries up front need, and it'll always keep them charged. If they're topped off, it'll just trickle a couple amps to maintain it. If they're low, it'll send 10 or whatever it needs. Of course, your tow vehicle will charge the batteries when you're pulling it down the road, because your alternator will be charging, adding power to the charge line, so that'll keep them charged there too. When we come up here, this is your solar controller here. Let's see if I can get a good position here. So B is the only one you worry about here, not A, because it considers it one battery the way it's wired. So because we're running out of battery, and we have been for some time, we're down to 74%. If you punch B though, 68 amp hours, you got 12.5 volts, right? And right now, they see the picture of the sun and the arrow pointing toward the panels. We're getting 1.0 amps right now, the way we're parked, and of course that changes with the position of the sun in the sky and how much shade there is, all that stuff. There are many factors, but that's showing you what is being taken from the sun and converted to electricity and put in your battery for storage. Now, if this ever shows 0.0 on a sunny day, it's just telling you your battery's already charged all the way. When it can't fit any more in there, when it won't take any more electricity, it'll just go 0.0, shut itself down. And then you can also learn about the other things you have. You got a little inverter thing there. You could a port where you could charge a phone in an emergency, that sort of thing. It says you got flooded batteries. If you were to change the batteries to gel, there's a position for gelled and also lithium. So you would change that. It doesn't detect it automatically, so you'd have to change that. But right now you have flooded batteries, and that's what you use. There's also an app for this, so you can also do that. Any of these components, you can go to the manufacturer's website. Like GoPower's got a great site, and they'll give you more information than you can ever use. It tells you everything you need to know. So, okay. Now this right here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. You can see it's green. It should always be green. If it's not, you want to get it serviced. It'll go off if it detects carbon monoxide buildup or LP gas. If that happens, you take everybody outside, obviously leave the door open, shut the gas off, figure out what's going on. But if it beeps that same tone but very slowly, it's telling you your batteries are low. So it'll tell you when your batteries get low. I'll run it through the paces so we can hear it. LP is good, carbon monoxide coming up. And then the low battery alert. And then it goes back to green. Like I said, if it's not green, get it serviced. That's obviously important. Your refrigerator works off 12 volt DC, so it's a 12 volt DC compressor refrigerator. Make sure you always keep that lock there so it doesn't fling open and damage your doors. Your water heater valves and your water pump and all that stuff are under here, so you have to unscrew this screw here. There's another one down there. It takes number 2 square-headed screwdriver or bit to undo it, but that's where you would change the valves to winterize it, that sort of thing. Your table, it's got some Velcro on it. It'll sit on these cleats, right, when you're traveling. Also, you can turn it into one large bed, or you can set the table up for a dining table, or just move it out of the way, whatever you need to do. When you're traveling, though, you always want to have that in place on the cleat so it doesn't bounce around. Alrighty. Thermostat is very simple. You just turn it on and it lights. When you shut it off, you want to hear that clicking sound. That's important, and it'll shut it down. The minute you do that clicking noise, when you turn it or slide it to the left, the flame will automatically shut off, but it'll still cycle through, so it's going to take a minute or two to stop. This is your furnace right there, just so you know. You have a great fan. It's a 4-speed fan with a vent cover on it, so you can open it in the rain. You just have to raise this up and down. It does lock down if you wanted to by pushing that up, right? And then you can select the speeds. For example, if you just want to cool down, that's obvious. You open the windows and that sort of thing. But let's say it's getting cool outside, and it's the time of year where you start to get the condensation from your breath, and people are over, and you're starting to see some condensation. If you just turn that on low, you won't even hear it. It'll pull all the condensation out. You'll never have an issue with it. So keep that in mind also. All right. Having a hard time talking here. Condensations. Okay. So Vent, obviously. Storage, obviously. Your toilet, you have to remember it's an RV toilet. There's the flush lever. You always want chemical and water in it before you use it. So after you hook up at the campground, you're going to come in here, put a dose of chemical in the bowl, right? Then you'll pull this forward and let a gallon of water go into the tank. You can use more. Some people use more, but at least a gallon. And you're ready to use it. You never can use it dry, obviously, because the smell will be overwhelming. And it also can get clogged up, so you don't want to do that. Always have chemical and water in it. The only thing to know about this is this device here, which is a shower miser. Okay, you can see it right here. There's a lever right here to turn it on and off. So what this is, it's a water recycler. So it's recirculator, I should say. It recirculates the water around and around and around in a loop between the water heater and here. So therefore, like if you're in an area with drought conditions, you don't want to just let the water go down the drain for perfectly good fresh water while you're heating it up, right? So you save water in that sense. Also, it saves space in your gray tank because you're not just dumping water down there for no reason. So what happens is that it'll circulate the water around and around until it gets hot, and then this will change to a beigeish color. You'll see it dramatically change to a kind of beige color. That's when you know you're all set. Then you just flip the lever and you can use the shower. So that's called a water miser. Again, you can go to websites, look at their product videos, but it's pretty self-evident. It just circulates the water around and around in a loop till it gets hot, so you don't waste it, okay? Hopefully I'm doing a good enough job here. Don't seem to be on point here today. So your keys, I told you there. Of course, you have your USB and regular plugs. Okay, let's see what else we have. I don't want to forget everything. Okay, so this is the Wi-Fi Ranger. Okay, you can see this tag right here. This is important. You won't be able to read it, but I'll tell you what it's saying. The top line, it says network, says Tenton 1430, which is your Wi-Fi Ranger. So when you go to your your device, your family's devices, you go to Wi-Fi, you'll be able to find Tenton 1430, and you know that's you, right? So you put a password in, so it'll log on to that automatically. Then in a browser, this bottom line, that's this control panel, you type in that address and it'll take you to the web page for the Wi-Fi Ranger. Now there's a temporary password right in the middle that says change me now 1430. Obviously you're going to come up with your own password. So the idea is it's a signal booster for public Wi-Fi. So when you get to the campground, let's say there's campground Wi-Fi and they give you a password number, you'll go to this address, you'll log into the website, and then you'll look through the list of all the Wi-Fi. It'll be long, and you'll pick out the campground's Wi-Fi, and then you'll log into that, right? So you just have to log this into the public Wi-Fi. All your phones and tablets will log onto this automatically. So it's a great signal booster. It works really, really well. This is where you turn it on and off here. It takes about a minute to warm up. Again, there's more information for it. You can scan that thing and look at what they have to show you. So there's another function where you can use it for cellular service, but it's something you'd have to pay every month. And most people just use it for the public Wi-Fi, but you can do what you wish. But that's the Wi-Fi Ranger. When it comes to your sound here, it has AM, FM radio. You have Bluetooth. You can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablet. You have USB. You can put all your albums on one stick and take them with you. This HDMI is an in, so you can go into the system with, let's say, a portable Blu-ray player or something if you wanted to. You have two speaker zones. One is inside the trailer, two is outside the trailer. So it does everything you need and then some. I think I mentioned AM, FM radio, so it does all you need. And of course your TV is 12 volt, but you can run it on, there is an adapter to run it on 110 also, but it's a 12 volt TV. And it does have a swing out bracket too. You just remember to lock it back into place so it doesn't flip around when you're traveling. Okay, and the air conditioner, the controls are right on it, of course. Okay. Your escape window works like most RV escape windows. You push it all the way through, and then you grab a hold of this red tab and pull the screen out, and you can exit in an emergency. Okay. You have shades on this one, all the way around. Okay, I think I've pretty much covered it. Let me walk outside and show you the water heater. I think I kind of went by that without talking about it. Let me see here. Yeah. So I showed you the switches inside to control it, right? Alright. Just so you know, this is the gas burner, obviously. The electric heating element is behind this cover here. That's your pressure release valve, just like you have on all water heaters. This is where you drain it right here. It's also an anode rod. It's a sacrificial rod plus the drain plug all in one. You use an 1 1/16 6-point socket with an extension and something to break it with, a ratchet or a bar or whatever. But that's where you'll drain it. Just always remember, you open the valve, let's say your kitchen faucet, whatever, and let the pressure out of it before you take this out. Otherwise it'll shoot out of there like a cannonball. And you always make sure it's cooled down first, because you don't want to scald yourself. So keep that in mind, but that's where you drain it right there. Alrighty, I think that does it. Let me look around. Let's see. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. You have a rack. Let me look on the roof if I can see. I didn't. Yeah, you have your solar panel up there. Your antenna works for TV and radio, plus your Wi-Fi Ranger is built right into that. I told you there was a vent over, or a cover over the vent. That's it right there. You probably have some. Let me see here before I speak. Yeah, you have a rack, 2 racks bars there, so you can store a kayak up there, whatever you need to put up there. So cool. Okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember that what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days. That's the most important thing a trailer owner can do. That's not this trailer, it's every trailer ever made. So make sure you do that. Right now it's de-winterized. All the antifreeze has been purged from the system. It's been replaced with fresh water. The water heater is in camping mode. The valves on the back have been turned from bypass to camping mode. And it's full of water, so you're all set. Remember what I said about anytime you drain the water heater, let's say you camp in the spring, and you're not going to go again until the fall, so you drain the water out of your water heater. Well, once you're getting ready to go, make sure you refill it before you turn it on. That's important to do, because you can burn the heating element out real quick. So, okay, all right. Thank you very much.